Today is going to be a good day. Breakfast with Vossy and Michael Carayannis here on the home of Sport SEN. Welcome to our Tuesday edition. I'm a bit croaky. It's almost as if this is my last week for the year. I'm limping to the line, but I'm looking at a physical specimen this morning. My word, he is trimmed back during paternity leave. He's obviously got the gym down in the basement and he's working, or he's taking something illegal, one or the other. Michael Carayannis, good morning to you.
Hello, Vossy. Good morning, mate. Hope you're feeling okay. Don't get too close to me after the probing yesterday, so make sure we steer clear this morning.
Yeah, good point. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for Bryden's Lawyers, as you know. Bryden's Lawyers, I have some very big news right off the top of the show. I've worked in the media a long time, Michael, and loyalty from sponsors is so important, but not necessarily compulsory across the way. Bryden's Lawyers have been on deck with SEN right from the get-go. I mean, we are talking the absolute formative time, and Lee Hadji-Pentelis and his team have committed again to our show for next year, and we're very appreciative of that. So thank you, Bryden's Lawyers, ladies and gentlemen. They're on deck again for next year. And Lee Hadji-Pentelis will be on the show a little later on today. Sport and the Law, he explains things so well. And if you need any legal advice, give them a call, 1-800-848-848. We need to get to other guests today. Tom Deason talking cricket from the Sydney Morning Herald. We love Tommy. Brian Goorjian will be on, Michael, so you can have a crack at him about talking to Jalen Adams in that timeout disaster for the Kings the other day against Melbourne. But the big story, Michael, and you journos, I mean, your brother, Dave Riccio, go well. He was all over this on the weekend. His mail was spot on. Laurie Daley, New South Wales coach. Reaction?
Yep, that's right there, Vossy. Obviously, Dave Riccio alluded to this over the course of the weekend, and it came to fruition yesterday. And it's been the tip since Michael Maguire took on that Brisbane Broncos job that Laurie Daley would be the next New South Wales coach. And I did find it all a little bit surprising, I guess. That's, Laurie's had a crack before and obviously came up against that Queensland juggernaut and had that famous series win, and then was essentially sacked from the role. He still wanted to continue in as coach, but was replaced by Brad Fittler. Now we've gone through Brad Fittler and Michael Maguire, and we've gone back to Laurie Daley. I think it just shows the fact that, when Michael Maguire put his hand up last year, he was the obvious choice, right? I don't think anyone questioned Michael Maguire's appointment. He was the standout candidate. They didn't have that this time around there, Vossy. If you look at some of the names there, they were all going to be a risk in different ways. Laurie's got that experience at Origin level. The other guys that were in the mix hadn't coached or head coached at an NRL level or Origin or anything like that. So it's an interesting appointment, 2-year deal for Laurie Daley, and he can try and put to bed some demons of the past, because that Queensland side, although it's still high quality, it's nowhere near the side that he faced a decade ago.
Of course, we will take your calls on that one on the Guildford Hotel open line, 1300 01 1170. Love your reaction on the text line to the Laurie Daley news. John Strange getting the women's job for New South Wales. I'll go two ways on Laurie Daley. One, and this doesn't get you the job, but he's a champion. He's a champion as a player. We know that. An absolute champion bloke. I mean, I would never tire of spending company with Laurie Daley. He is good value. He is an absolute champion bloke. That doesn't get you the job, though. I sent Laurie a message last night. I said, welcome back to the fold. Make sure you bring a chair, of course. And he said, everyone asked me about that effing chair. And it is true. And it is true. Long after we've left this earth, he'll still be getting asked about Gus stealing his chair. But the one thing, and I'm a man of stats, Michael. So what is it? By the time Origin rolls around next year, Laurie will have coached 8 years ago, was sacked, as you mentioned. It's impossible to escape, was sacked, and hasn't actually done anything. Like, not visibly, not in terms of NRL coaching. He may have done things behind the scenes. I don't know. He may have been to training sessions and observed and picked up a lot of experience. I don't know whether you're aware of that, but that's the only one. That's the odd point of it. Maybe not odd. That's the unusual aspect of it, that someone comes back having not gone away worked on something on their coaching somewhere else, had a bit of success, and then come back. He hasn't actually gone away and coached anywhere.
Yeah, he hasn't had the ability to either because the NRL put some restrictions around him because of his various roles where he wasn't allowed to be an assistant coach. I think, the Tigers wanted him at some stage and Manly wanted him as well. So he hasn't been able to have that formal agreement with the club. He's a Kangaroos selector over the past couple of seasons. Make of that what you will. And, he's not hands-on in the coaching of the Australian side whatsoever, but he has had a role in selecting that side. So I think we have an idea. Although Mal Meninga will get the players that he wants for Australia, we can have a look at, the Dylan Edwards, James Tedesco situation with Edwards usurped Tedesco for that Kangaroos jersey at the back end of the year, and Laurie would have played a role in those decision-making.
Now, the Craig Bellamy factor, does that get, what have you found out, Michael? Or did that get him across the line? Like if it was a tight race between other candidates like Matt King and Michael Ennis and maybe a Trent Barrett, Paul McGregor and all of that Laurie brings to the table, as it's been negotiated, Craig Bellamy as advisor. Was that a big
No, I don't
ace
think
in the
that
pack?
sealed the deal. I think it was Laurie had sort of worked out Craig in the background before he took it to the New South Wales Rugby League, and I think once those talks progressed where it looked like he was going to get the job, it was value add, I guess, to his position. So I think he still would have got the job regardless of the Craig Bellamy appointment, but once Craig became available and put his hand up to help Laurie, obviously that's a huge thing, and I think it's a great appointment. And we saw Brad Fittler have Ivan Cleary a little bit, and I think it's important to have a guy that's in the week in week out furnace a little bit as an available source for some help, because there's little things like interchange rotations and these things that these guys do on a weekly basis will help come game night, and his plan is to be in the box for every Origin match. The Storm's draw is favourable.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's going to be the plan, and the Storm's draw is favourable in terms of around that Origin period. So he'll spend a little bit of time in camp, but he's not going to be in camp full time or anything like that. But he's going to be a sounding board. Laurie's going to spend some time in Melbourne and sit in the Storm coach's box as well at times during the season. So that relationship goes back to their playing days at Canberra. So what's that, 30 or so years ago now.
Don't mind that. Nathan is our opening batsman today on the text. He says, "Morning, boys. Loving the show. Do you think it's strange that Daley was sacked, hasn't coached since, and now he's back? Based on what? Question mark. Yeah. Has he improved? Question mark. He works in gambling. Nathan, North Sydney. Go the Bears, he says." So Nathan tapping into that sentiment about where has Laurie improved. And look, I have laid my cards on the table. I would call Laurie a mate. I've worked with Laurie, I've admired Laurie, I've respected Laurie, but you are entitled to ask those questions of Laurie as to how he feels he's a better coach now, where is he, what has he done to improve himself since last game. Breakfast with Vossy and Michael Carayannis on SEN, the home of sport, powered by Kubota. Rev it up, baby. The ride-on mowers, the tractors, the utility vehicles, limping to the line, a little croaky. Gears winding down. That's the sort of place we're at the moment. We're talking about Laurie Daley, and there are a load of texts right there. It is the number one story. People want to talk about it. Not surprised, Michael. Okay, make a prediction right now, Michael. Through the course of the show, we'll take lots of text calls over 3 hours. Do you think at the end of that, it's going to be more in favour of the Laurie Daley appointment or against?
I think it's going to be more against, but I think that would have been the case for anyone that got appointed, because I just don't think there was a clear-cut candidate there, Vossy. I don't think it's going to be I think it'll be 60-40 against. I don't think it's going to be an overwhelming against Laurie's appointment, but I don't think there was a person there where you go, like, I was sitting there going, I don't know who they should have picked. I think they should have, I would have had to have been in the interview room to see how it all played out, because I just don't think there was that clear-cut candidate. I thought Michael Ennis would have been a great choice, and but obviously he comes with some risk as well. So, I don't think there was anyone there where you go, okay, he's our man.
All right, Rob on the text, what the appointment of Laurie Daley and Craig Bellamy as advisor tells me is that when Craig finishes with a Storm, he will be the Blues coach moving forward if he desires. It'd be a trial for him, I'd say. I don't know about trial. He's been Origin coach before Craig Bellamy. I don't think he'd have to trial for the Origin coach. But I understand the thought line there that now Bellamy's waiting in the wings. He's going to be in the coach's box, you revealed, that he would be the next coach odds on.
No, well, I think if he wanted the job, he could have had the job. Really, that's the stature of Craig Bellamy. If he wanted to coach New South Wales, I think at any point in the next 10 years or so, if he wants to turn his hand to New South Wales, I think he gets that job. Like it's he's arguably the greatest coach of all time, Craig Bellamy. So if he ever wanted to do that job again, he'd be able to get it.
Well, he's right there. Good morning, V and M. Good luck to Laurie for the upcoming series with the Blues. Just a question for MC. Wasn't Laurie overlooked before due to his employment with the TAB? Has this changed the surfing night? So that's a fair question. So what has to change for Laurie Daley in his working life to have the job as New South Wales coach, Michael? What's your understanding?
So previously when he coached New South Wales, he wasn't employed by the TAB, and then obviously since then he's picked up a few roles there, and that's prevented him, I mentioned it before, from coaching at the NRL level in terms of either an assistant's role or an advisory role, because Manly and the Tigers and a few other clubs had sounded him out. So now as part of his deal, he had to scale back some of those commitments with the TAB, and that includes spruiking some odds that he's done. He's done that on NRL 360, on the Matty John show. So those appearances now he'll be unable to do.
Okay, some support for Laurie. This one from Paulie of West Wallsend. I can kind of understand the cynicism, doubts about Laurie Daley's appointment, but two things. He's a ferocious competitor. What were the realistic alternatives? I'm backing him to jam it up the critic Shaminda. Paulie from West Wallsend. Chaminda Voss. He says Shaminda. The name is actually Chaminda. Bring in Charlie on that one. Chaminda Voss. Just confirmation. It is Chaminda. He didn't pronounce his name as Shaminda.
No, it is Chaminda Voss. Yes,
yeah, it's up the Chaminda. Let's get our rhyming slang correct.
Yeah, one of Sri Lanka's greatest ever cricketers, Chaminda Voss.
Chaminda, that's it. From Shire Bob Michael, Laurie Daley will be great with Craig Bellamy. Very good combo. So you don't think so? Craig won't have any direct contact with the players. Is that what you're thinking?
I think no. I think he'll spend some time in camp, but he's not going to be there for the whole 10 days or whatever it is that they're in camp, because he's still got he's stormed commitments. I think that the buys sit around that time, but no, I don't think he's going to be hands-on in camp throughout the 3-game Origin series. But there'll be times throughout the series where he's in there. And working closely with the players. But his job's going to be more with Laurie than it is going to be with the squad.
Right. Now, Michael, you have a little, you've put together a little joining the dots of some of the appointments for next season, haven't you, about what's happened? There's a little trend that's
yes, of course, in terms of the rugby league landscape. It's a bit bizarre. So obviously yesterday we saw the appointment of Laurie Daley to become New South Wales coach again, and it was on the same day that Wayne Bennett made his return to South Sydney and fronted up for pre-season training for the first time. And then we've got Ben Hunt, who's obviously signed for the Broncos, Vossy, and it's giving me some of these vibes, some of these Back to the Future vibes.
Did you rehearse that, Michael? That was really good. That was really slick. Seamless. That's so you're saying Back to the Future. Is there another one waiting in the wings that something's going to happen there? Is John Gosher going to come back and referee or something? Pulling out Bill Harrigan to come back.
But
that's some hard issues, Billy boy. I reckon he can do it.
It's got me thinking some of the great returns, Vossy.
Okay. Great returns.
Wayne Bennett's had a few of them. Going back to Brisbane.
Yeah. Bob Simpson's the most celebrated in cricket. If you want, when World Series cricket started, Bob Simpson comes out of retirement in his 40s and captains Australia. That's one that comes straight to mind. So Back to the Future, comebacks through time. Michael is putting it out there.
Good or bad?
Now, they're good or bad. That's right. They don't have to have been successful. No, you just want examples.
Mike Tyson's fight the other day.
What a comeback. That was
lemon.
enormous.
That wasn't great.
That was rigged. That was a rort.